Hi, Captain Carry-On here. Airline rules are changing faster than most travelers realize. And the biggest mistake you can make right now is assuming that what worked on your last trip will still work on your next one. The truth is, airlines are quietly adjusting policies, fees, and enforcement in ways that directly affect your wallet, your time, and your stress levels. Some of these changes are subtle, others are frustrating, and a few are actually helpful. But every single one of them matters if you want to stay in control when you fly. Let's start with pricing, because this is where many travelers are getting caught off guard. Airlines are no longer just charging different prices based on when you book or how flexible you are. They are experimenting with who you are. On certain routes, searching for one ticket instead of two can result in a higher price for the exact same seat. This isn't a group discount or a limited time promotion. It's a pricing strategy designed to extract more money from solo travelers, especially those who fly alone for work and are assumed to be less price sensitive. The problem is that plenty of leisure travelers also fly solo, and they're now paying a quiet penalty without realizing it. This shift signals a bigger trend. Airlines are using data to segment travelers more aggressively than ever before. That means the way you search, book, and even travel can influence what you're charged. The smartest move is awareness. Always test prices by searching for one passenger and then two, even if you're flying alone. That single habit can reveal whether you're being pushed into a higher fare bracket. Policies on timing are tightening as well, especially around check-in. Airlines are becoming far less flexible when it comes to deadlines, and missing a cutoff by even a minute can now cost you your entire ticket. Online check-in is no longer a convenience, it's a requirement. If you're the type of traveler who prefers handling things at the airport, this is a habit you'll need to change. Checking in as soon as it opens protects you from system lockouts and removes one more variable on travel day. At the same time, airlines that once stood out for traveler-friendly policies are moving closer to the industry norm. Free checked bags, flexible credits, and open seating are disappearing, replaced by fees, expiration dates, and seat assignments with added costs. The contrast is clear. What used to feel simple and forgiving now requires more planning and more attention to fine print. Travelers who don't adapt end up paying more, not because travel is impossible, but because the rules quietly shifted around them. If you're finding this helpful so far, let me know in the comments whether you usually travel solo or with others. It makes a real difference in how these new rules affect you, and your input helps shape future breakdowns. Safety rules are evolving too, particularly around power banks and portable chargers. After incidents overseas, airlines are cracking down on how these devices are stored and used. The safest approach is simple. Keep power banks in your personal item, never in checked luggage, and only use them when they are visible and within reach. Sticking to trusted brands matters more than ever, because cheap knockoffs carry higher risks and less tolerance from airline crews. Another major shift is happening at a global level. Fewer flights are operating between certain regions, which means fewer options and higher prices. When routes disappear, flexibility disappears with them. This affects not only international travelers heading to the United States, but also Americans trying to get home. Booking earlier and planning arrivals carefully is becoming essential, not optional. One way to reduce friction amid all this change is to control what you can. Ground transportation is a perfect example. After a long flight, the last thing you want is confusion over taxis, pricing, or directions. Booking airport transfers in advance through a service like Kiwa Taxi locks in affordable pricing and ensures a driver is waiting when you land. It removes uncertainty at a moment when your patience is lowest and your energy is drained. Airline rules will keep changing, but informed travelers adapt faster. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into international entry requirements, partnerships, and enforcement changes that could catch you off guard if you're not prepared. Beyond pricing and in-flight policies, some of the most impactful airline rule changes now happen at borders and during arrival. And this is where unprepared travelers lose the most time and money. Governments and airlines are working more closely than ever, which means airlines are enforcing entry requirements before you even board. If you are missing a document, authorization, or digital approval, the airline is responsible for flying you back, so they have every incentive to deny boarding early rather than deal with problems later. This is why electronic travel authorizations are no longer something you can learn about at the airport. For travel to certain countries, approval is required in advance, even for short visits. These authorizations are usually inexpensive and valid for multiple trips, but failing to apply can end your journey before it begins. The smartest approach is to treat entry authorization the same way you treat your passport. It is not optional, and it should be handled weeks before departure, not days. Enforcement is tightening in smaller but meaningful ways as well. On some routes, passengers are now being fined for standing up before the seatbelt sign is turned off after landing. This may sound minor, but fines can be significant, and enforcement is mandatory for crew members. Habits that once went unnoticed are now monitored, especially at major international hubs. Awareness protects you from unnecessary penalties and awkward situations. At the same time, there are a few positive developments worth paying attention to. Airline partnerships are expanding, allowing travelers to earn and use points across multiple carriers while keeping elite benefits. This gives you more flexibility when routes are reduced and schedules are limited. Understanding these partnerships can help you rebook more efficiently and extract more value from loyalty programs you already use. Connectivity has also become an essential part of modern travel. Airlines assume you can access apps, boarding passes, and immigration forms digitally, often immediately after landing. Relying on public internet is risky and inconsistent. Planning your connectivity in advance ensures you can navigate customs, transportation, and accommodations without delay. Preparation here directly affects how smoothly your arrival unfolds. Transportation after landing deserves special attention in this new environment. With fewer flights, fuller planes, and tighter schedules, airports are more crowded and less forgiving. Long taxi lines, unclear pricing, and language barriers amplify fatigue. Booking airport transfers in advance through Taxi removes this variable completely. You know who is picking you up, where you are going, and what it costs before you even leave home. That certainty matters more now than ever. If these changes feel overwhelming, pause for a moment and remember this: complexity only creates stress when you ignore it. When you acknowledge new rules early and build them into your system, travel becomes manageable again. The travelers who struggle are not the ones who fly the most, but the ones who assume nothing has changed. This is also the moment to review your own habits. Are you checking airline rules before every trip, or relying on memory? Are you booking ground transportation last minute, or locking it in early? Are you verifying entry requirements yourself, or assuming someone else will flag them for you? Small habit shifts create massive improvements under the new rules. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Which airline change frustrates you the most right now? Pricing, fees, enforcement, or entry requirements? Drop it in the comments. Your experiences help keep this information current and relevant. Airline rules will continue to evolve, but control is still available to travelers who stay informed and proactive. When you combine awareness with smart planning, including advanced airport transfers through Taxi, you reduce friction at every stage of the journey. The goal is not to fight the system, but to move through it confidently, knowing what to expect and how to respond. That is how modern travelers stay ahead, even when the rules keep changing.